Hi, Kushbu. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm very good. Thank you. So, Kushbu, we're very glad to have you today. Okay, another blogger on the show. Blogging has become a big deal, yeah, these days. Might as well get insights on that. Right? Acha, Kushbu, just for the audience, please tell us what is it that you do?
Blogging is not my main thing. So,
Okay.
I work for Adobe. I've been working for more than 20 years. I started off into as a trainee into project management.
Wow.
And to begin with, I actually started even earlier. I was very much inspired by a show called Dennis the Menace, if you remember that, in childhood years. And I thought, why don't we, earn our own pocket money? That's how the whole earth started.
Okay.
And during
So, what
school
was Dennis the Menace about? I'm just going to stop you here.
So it's an
People who don't
international,
know.
yeah, international show where there's a small child
Okay.
who just go around the neighborhood, maybe somebody's garden, just to get some bucks,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And being from an Indian
Independent.
Indian household, this was not
Something
thing.
usual.
Yeah, so I mean, hardly ever you would expect a child to go earn a pocket money.
Right.
And I thought, like, why not us, right? So I thought maybe I can take up some small jobs, earn my own pocket money, and that urge started. So I was into computer science, so that was my passions in school.
Okay.
And I was also into internet and early 2000s, where very few people understood computers.
Absolutely right.
So that's when I started, writing, and I got hired by website where I was moderator and editor for the website.
Okay.
So that was one of my first few jobs where I was being paid.
Okay. Your first gig.
Yeah, first gig. That was growing up in school time. Then I started.
So how did
writing.
you manage to get into this?
Because of course it was online world, right? So I used to comment on some of the portals, websites. So this was like pre Facebook era.
Yeah, exactly.
So
why I
yeah,
asked.
that time, right? So I used to be very active with my comments and views, and then some people started reaching me that why don't you write an article for us on this topic? We would like to get to your views, and I started writing content for them. And that was my first gig, right? So then I also worked for different other pieces, like there was a website called ishimla.com. Then in college, I was also working with the Times of India as part of the marketing team.
Wow.
And then I was selected in Maruti for first internship.
Okay.
That was into PR and marketing.
Okay. By this time, you had done your studying part.
No. So I was still in my college.
In your college,
during my college years.
Right.
And then my first full-time job was Thomson Digital, part of India Today Group.
Okay.
There I joined as a trainee project management. So from there, like I grew in that organization from a trainee to a manager level, people manager, handling customer relationship, quality, corporate quality, right? So all those levels. And I was there for 6.5 years.
6.5.
Yeah. And then I moved to Prometric, which is an examination company.
Okay.
So I joined there somewhere around 2010. And my key project there was handling online examinations, right? And during those years, people could not believe that in India, online examinations would work, considering the population that we have and the amount of sensitivity that is involved in examination business. So I was involved in the
So online examinations, like how these SATs and everything.
So I was handling the project related to IIMs, the CAT entrance exam.
Okay.
So I was part of the project management team there, right from SME recruitment to entire test development, going to IIMs to conduct workshops for professors, getting the test created, and then of course finally it's delivered, all over India and you get the results. So the entire cycle.
And what did you do your graduation in?
I was into business management as well as computer science. Okay. So that was my bachelor's. Okay. So I was in 2010, did that examination thing for a couple of years. Then I moved to ITpreneurs. So I already had a background of content and publishing in Thomson Digital, then examination business. Then I moved to ITpreneurs. In ITpreneurs, I was enticed with the entire process of content creation from courses perspective. That how people start writing content right from scratch. There, I was involved in the first Cloud Credential Council certification. So I was part of, I was heading the new product development and innovation team, where the goal of the team was to come up with courses ahead of market, study the market, understand it, and launch courses which would sell maybe 2 years down the line. So that is what I was focused on there.
So, we just go a bit of basically a bit deeper into this.
Yeah.
So, in the content creation with the that you did. So what was it exactly that, what was the idea? What was the thought behind it? How was it? Like the course that you developed?
So, see, the idea. So the concept was that as the team, we had to come up with an idea which would sell in market 2 years from now, and of course, technical domain, cloud related, or something related to IT certifications. And that's when we had a lot of innovation sessions, brainstorming sessions,
Right.
and then we came up with an idea that we do not have any cloud courses, right?
Okay. So what are cloud courses exactly?
Anything related to cloud certifications, which we have a lot of.
Okay, what is cloud certification? Because I'm sure not everybody knows it.
Okay. So now a lot of people know, right, that there are multiple courses by different organizations, right? It could be a security manager cloud certification. It could be a system architect cloud course. Now this is a buzzword. This is a very common terminology these days. But during those years, it was an unknown zone, right? So that's when the Cloud Credential Council was formed. And that organization was the first in market to come up with a full-fledged course on cloud certification. And that was part of, what we came up in my team.
So you believe that you have self-made. Yeah. Want to take me through your journey? Because it's going to be an inspiration to so many of them. And this is one of my purpose definitely for college and bring out stories which will really touch them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, men, women alike, right? I would say that growing up, I was very much inspired by Dennis the Menace, right? Why not earn your own pocket money? I mean, in Indian culture, I know that people stay dependent on their parents, husbands, wife, whatever, right? There is a tendency to be dependent. I have not been that, right? So right from my childhood, I started working on short-time jobs, right? Even in a city like Faridabad, where when I joined Times of India, for example, the person who recruited me was not sure whether I'm the right fit for the role. Why? Because I was a woman in a city like Faridabad. But then he took a chance on me and he said, okay, let's give it a try. And he said that to puri chali jayegi. That's what he felt.
Okay.
But then I was on it. I used to get up early in the morning, 5 o'clock. Sorry? कुछ बनना नहीं था. It's not about कुछ बनना था. It was more like I had that passion in me. That if there is something I'm supposed to do, I will do it to the best of my ability. It was just that. That if I make a commitment in a way that, okay, I'm going to deliver this, I will do that. So that was there right from the childhood. And that high of getting your own pocket money, that was in me from the very beginning. So whether it was working with Times of India, later on, I grabbed, internship with Maruti, despite not being from a technical background. I was just doing graduation at that point of time back. So they actually selected me out of hundreds of students, and I was not an engineer, which is an exception to their own rule because they have a set format that hey, only engineers can apply, and we have these categories. So what I did was I went to a factory visit, and there was a guide who was taking us through the Maruti factory. I started asking questions. I was genuinely interested in understanding the car making process. That's when he noticed me out of hundreds of students, and he said, "Okay, do you think this process of factory visits and branding can improve?" I said, "Yes, I have some ideas." And then he took a separate conversation with me for 15-20 minutes. Said, if you would do it, how would you do it differently? And I gave my ideas. And then after a month, I got a call that, would you like to do an internship with Maruti? Now, coming from a non-IIT college, right? Not a mainstream college, right? Doing bachelor's in management and computer science, getting a call from Maruti was not a small thing. Men, women, whatever, right? But I got picked, and I was the first intern in public relations department for Maruti. And even now I'm connected to my guide, right? It's been more than 20 years, right? 23, 24 years now from my internship. And still they are connected to me. And I was the first recruit, and they remember me. There have been hundreds of students who would have gone to Maruti, done the internship. But being connected is a one different thing, right? So that's how it started. Then getting my first job also was purely on merit. There was banner, okay, there's a walk-in interview. While of course there was a campus placement thing going on, I thought why not just go and walk in and see how it works. Again, I was in a hall full of thousands of applicants who were there for some entrance exam and then different rounds. And I made it to top two, and those two people were recruited out of thousands of interviewees. So, and happened to be the first project management trainee in Thomson Digital. At that time, the CEO of the company said, "Okay, you tell me what is project management because this is a new concept." I'm talking about like way back, right? Project management itself was an evolving field. So I got my first full-time job also based on my own skills and not with a Ivy League degree, not with anybody's reference or a jab that we say, right? And and I had that itch of, I did not like traveling in public transport. I was not very comfortable with it. So within 6 months, I just saved some money, saved my salary, and I said, okay, I'm going to get my own car. I went to the Maruti dealership and I told them my first stipend money was 8,500 rupees per month. That is what I was giving. And that was in Thomson Digital. That was my stipend. And from that, there were deductions also, right? And I said, okay, I want to buy a car, whatever I can afford. They said, no, you cannot afford Alto also. It was the smallest car. I said, no, I can make it work, right? I'll pay the EMI, don't worry about it. I went to 3 different dealerships and finally I found one sensible person who trusted me that I will pay back the loan. They had the perception that, hey, maybe, she will get married, she will not pay back the loan. Maybe, this salary is not enough to, cover the EMI and expenses. But then he said, okay, let me make it work. And he figured out a way and I got the loan without even signature of my father. I had that rule in my mind that I won't need any guarantor for the role. I would not, and even if they want, right, nothing, no, not even a signature or a name that goes with it. I needed a loan only based on my merit that I'm going to pay it back. And they did that. So that was my first car. That was my first car. Fast forward a few years, I bought a plot in Navi Mumbai, again through my saved salary. And it went down the drain route, right? It didn't work. So the builder was not good. They just did not deliver. So my money was stuck there, which was a big demotivator because we were talking about mistakes, right? So it turned out to be a mistake that I invested in a unit which was in Navi Mumbai, which I had no idea of.
So just back up.
Yeah, this was in 2007, right? And but I wasn't disheartened. I thought, okay, maybe that is one bad investment. 2010 again, we were walking through Noida zone, and I thought, okay, maybe I can buy a flat in Noida. So we saw an advertisement saying that 16 lakh rupees you can buy a house, and I thought, okay, let's just go and check out that maybe I can afford 16 lakh rupees, right, through EMIs and whatnot. So we went there, and it was like a far off location in Noida, and we had to take a U-turn. I said, okay, you're not going further ahead. And then the guy from Investors Clinic, he said, hey, you know what, there is a new sector coming up, one expressway of Noida. And I told him I won't be able to afford it. So there's no point going there. So just go, look at it. We'll talk about how it's going to work out and whether you can afford it or not later. Just have a look, just because now you're in Noida. But okay, we'll just, it was more like a picnic mode that let's go there and figure out. In any case, I'm not going to buy. It's going to be expensive. So we went there in 2010, 137 sector, and it was completely blank. There was nothing there. And they offered that, hey, there's a pre-launch of a society, and they did not even have brochures ready. And I thought, okay, let's just move with it. Let's figure out the first few installments. We'll think about the later installments later, right? So I took a leap of faith. And even before the brochures were printed, I was one of the first 100 customers of that unit. And that was my first property which I actually got delivered, right? So one was a failure, but then this one I actually got. Even then, we're talking about again people. गाड़ी ले ली, ऑल्टो घर लिया, एक घर जो मिला ही नहीं मुझे,
वो चला गया,
वो चला गया. And people were like, ये पागल है लड़की कि एक प्लॉट वहां ले लिया है नवी मुंबई में जो पता ही नहीं है कहाँ है, पहले पैसे डुबो दिए. अब एक नोएडा में फ्लैट ले लिया है, नोएडा वाले तो कभी डिलीवर करते नहीं है. So she's just draining her money. I mean, she's working for what, right? She just earns salary, spends on things which are wacky.
People are there to judge. And
they're there, and I did not pay attention to that. Even then, even back then when I was young, immature, right? I did not pay attention to it. I had to do what I had to do.
Absolutely.
My thing was that I would build things for myself Although, of course, my parents were there to support, but my mission was that I would do it myself because it was not for anybody else or to prove to anybody else. It was to prove to myself, right? That I would like to build something on my own. And then there was a time when, I got, some reactions from people that, hey, you know what, Alto is, doesn't suit your personality. I got this comment, which really hurt me. Now, what do you mean, Alto doesn't suit my personality? It is a car that I bought from my own money.
Yeah, very special.
So how is it that it doesn't suit my personality? I mean, the way you are, the way you carry yourself, you should get a bigger car, and this doesn't suit your personality. And I would see that people had that judgment, which I don't approve of. I don't think people should judge anybody based on the car they drive, right? But then I felt that judgment coming from people, and then I thought, okay,
You channelized it in a better way.
yes,
Yeah.
if that is the way you judge me, watch me. Just watch me. And that's when I bought, in 2012, I bought my Verna. Again, on loan, a leap again, right?
Yeah.
But then, you know what, when you start, it's now we know the word called manifestation. Back then, I did not even know there's a word called manifestation. I think
It
it
existed.
it existed.
Absolutely.
I signed up for a house, I got it, right? And that at that time, I remember I was talking to my father that, hey, how am I going to pay for this? Like after some years, and he said, "Ho jayega. We'll see. Cross the bridge when you get to it." Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to start worrying about what would happen 5 years from now, because 5 years from now, your life may be very different. And we thought, okay, worst case what, right? We won't be able to sell it off, pay it off, right? You can still do that. So that's what happened. So I bought a Verna, and see, buying a Verna was not that because I wanted Verna. It was because I wanted to shut the people who mentioned to me that, hey, Alter is too small for you. I said, okay, now is this good enough for me? And then, of course, recently I also bought an Audi. Again, not because I wanted to show to anybody, but because it was just another thing. Then during, so I lost my father in 2019. That's when I was in Faridabad. That was my parental house, and I had my house in Noida as well, fully furnished and everything. But during COVID time, we were living in Faridabad house, and there was something off about that place because of memories and I don't know. There was something weird there, and I asked my mom that let's just live in Noida because let's live there. Which again, because I bought it at an early stage, it was a small house and not very comfortable for my mom. And I had to balance it out, right? I wanted a house which has a positive feeling, where I'm not drained out. At the same time, that is comfortable for my mom. And that's when I said, okay, you tell me. I asked my mom, where do you want to live? And that's how we decided what size of the house we'll buy, what location we'll figure out. And we came to this house where we're sitting right now, right? My budget to begin with was 1 CR. That, okay, managing, some sale of stocks, some loan amount, I can manage to do something in 1 CR. But when we came to this house, my mom, who doesn't typically even go upstairs, when we reached here, she was directly on the terrace. She just climbed up the stairs like 5 floors. Wow. That was the energy that brought us here. Then I was like, okay, this is it. This house actually pulled us in. And then I was not even looking at the budget. My budget was 1 CR, but definitely this was more than double of what I started with. Of course. And then it was like, okay, let's make it happen. I bought this house without selling my paternal house, without selling my Noida house. And still I managed to buy it. So maintaining 3 houses, transition to my 3rd car. And I would say it's all by myself. Without an Ivy League degree, without any references, without any jack. It's not that people did not offer me to help. It's like I did not want to take it, and those people respect me for that. So one of my uncle, my mummy's mamaji, he is a very influential person. During college admissions, right? He asked me, "Beta, baat karu main kya? Matlab, kahin pe karana hai?" So it was just a casual thing that, because I know a lot of my cousins and other people, right? They would just approach him, we need this help, that help, blah, blah, blah. I am not one of those people who would ask for help like that, right? That give me a reference, give me a jack. I don't do that. That's not me. On the contrary, he asked me that, do you need any help? And he was always there with me till the time he was there, right? And I said, no, I got it. And when I said, okay, I got it, now he became my champion. Every time we would meet for family functions, he was the first person who would say, you know what, Khushbu, what she's doing these days? And of course,
Became your first fan.
yeah. I mean, I loved it. The people approached him for favors, and he used to be the one who would say in family functions and all, you know what, Khushbu went to Australia. You know what, Khushbu went to Japan. And in fact, he mentioned that वो वहाँ पे पढ़ने नहीं जाती है, वहाँ पे लोगों को पढ़ा के आती है.
Wow.
So that's the difference. He explained to people. He must सोचो कि बस travel किया. She went there, conducted workshop for employees there.
Pushpa, इसमें आपकी journey is so inspiring. Sure, you see how come you want to connect with this type of failure. So what is it? What was your motivation? What inspired you to do what you do?
I think it's just about when we say the word independent, right? There are multiple definitions of it. I think my father told me the word independent, my mother told me the word independent, but my definition of independent was very different from what we think it is these days, right? So for me, it was like, okay, end to end, can I do it myself? Which means without relying on, while of course they're there, like they are there to catch me if I fall, right? That was there till the time my father was there. I had that feeling, okay, he's there. But I wanted to go through the process myself. I mean, I could have asked him, sign a document, yeah, just give me a signature. It would have been easier to buy a car, right? Instead of going through 3 dealerships, ultimately I was paying for the money. Like the EMI was going from my salary only. एक guarantee देने में क्या time लगता है, right? It's just adding one document, that's it. But it was my thing that no, I want to see. It was also for me to give me that confidence that I did it myself. It was not to prove anything to anybody. तब तो social media में नहीं था. So a lot of people do things these days for social media. But for me, it was not that I wanted to show this to anybody. I don't even talk about it much. I don't. It was only to tell myself that, and then when you look back, right, it gives you the energy to move forward.
You've come this far.
You've come this
still
far.
Keep going.
Yeah, and I had failures, right? Like the money I spent, on that Mumbai property, right? I never got that property.
Yeah.
There's a learning there. Eventually, there were a lot of challenges also. It's not easy. Like when I went to buy properties, there would be dealers who would just say, hey, you know what, आप आए तो हो, but जब final हो जाए तब बात करना. Like final है. So when they say the final हो जाएगा तब बात करना, that means when your father is there or somebody, some male would accompany you, maybe that's where. नहीं ये recent बात है. ये recent बात है.
Wow.
Even when I bought this house, I actually browsed through houses.
So even after giving the documents and showing them whatever from bank से जो भी चाहिए होगा, even after that,
Of course,
that's surprising.
There were some properties. I know one property in Faridabad which I had shortlisted. The only reason the deal did not happen is because they were stuck. कि जब आप final कर लोगे तब आना. Like final है. I have the checkbook in front of me.
आप लीजिए और
I am ready to buy. Show me the papers. Who is the owner? Tell me, right? नहीं आप घर में डिस्कस करके आइए. घर में क्या डिस्कस करके आए? I'm here. I have the money. I have to buy a house. What do I discuss about it? Why do I have to discuss with anybody, right? But that is the mentality. But again, where I am right now, the people we bought this house from, they were amazing. They did not ask me such questions. They were very open-minded. In fact, they told me that there's a couple, they have a daughter. They told me this, that you know what, when you bought this house, it's not just that you are happy, we are also happy because that's a good learning for our daughter. So,
she bought,
so it's a learning, right? So he told me that I went back home, I told my daughter that, you know what, who has bought this house? So that is the energy. But I have seen people who were not ready to even get to the deal just because they had that bias. Even during when I bought my Varna, right? People don't talk about biases that biases don't exist.
Oh, no, they do.
Not in organizations like where I work. Maybe it's an elite crowd, right? They are well educated. They have gone through a lot of trainings. They are sensitized. But when you go on streets, no, people are coming from different backgrounds. When I bought my Varna, right? I said I took an SBI loan, right? I said, I need a 5-year loan. That should be enough. The guy who was handling the papers, he just changed the letter and he made it 7.
Oh.
He just
ये 5 में
rewrite
हो
it.
नहीं पाएगा.
कि 5 में पता नहीं हो पाएगा कि नहीं, EMI कम कर देते हैं, पता नहीं हो पाएगा कि नहीं, चलो 7 कर देते हैं. And then late, of course, if it is 7 years, the interest amount also goes up.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I got my check, and I realized there's something wrong with it, and I told the branch head, the head of the department, and then she scolded that guy that how can you make changes to sign document? And then he got the scolding. But again, why did he do that? He was trying to help. He was just trying to help.
Oh, that's the excuse, but औरत कैसे ले लेगी? It was the whole idea.
क्या पता, मतलब easy हो जाएगा ना कि EMI कम कर देंगे, 7 साल में आराम से कर लेना, क्यों 5 साल में आपको complete करना है, right? So he was trying to be nice. So we have to also think, right? When people are trying to be nice, some kind of bias is still there.
Yeah.
They would not do it for a guy, right? They would not say, okay. In fact, they might just reduce it to 3 years. So that exists because we are in a very sophisticated, sorted environment. Does not mean that people around us
Also
do not have
the same
biases. That is there, but you would know it only when you face it.
Yeah.
If you're in a protected shell,
Then
of course, you're in your la la land, and you will say, as we were talking, privileged women. Right? The privilege is to be earned, and you earn it yourself.
No, privilege is to be earned is one thing, but people who are privileged should be grateful.
Absolutely,
They should be grateful, and they should accept it with dignity as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
That's
a brilliant thing to have that as well.
But don't bank on it. I would say don't bank on it.
There's a difference. I'll tell you why. There are paths made, different individuals according to the different scripts that they are born with.
Absolutely.
Okay, so judging one does not make the other one better or less.
Absolutely.
That doesn't happen.
Absolutely. You don't judge anybody, but when we say independent, what do you mean by independent? Your definition may be different from somebody else's, which is fair.
And Khushbu, see why I approached you just now. Adobe bit is a very technical bit. We'll pick that up later. Why?
Sure.
It's because you have a massive following,
Mhm.
right?
Sure.
And you do so many events, so many collaborations, and there are people who want to get into that eventually.
Sure.
So tell us, how did you get into the blogging bit with your work aside, of course?
Okay, so then whatever I told you, right? So I started blogging back then, growing up.
Right.
Earlier times it was on websites, right? From there we moved to Orkut, and then further up Facebook. Facebook was all about pictures,
Right.
and then Instagram is more recent, right? Which is all about videos. So as we are progressing, right, the content communication methodology is changing with technology,
Right.
And something else may come up next.
Absolutely.
So currently, yes, Instagram, but yeah, blogging is more of my hobby
Okay.
and not really a place where, not my career.
Not your
And collaborations I do, but then with not, full-fledged motive of saying that, hey, that's not my true motivation.
Yeah.
It's more to explore new things, maybe identify.
It's your passion, mostly.
Yeah,
You enjoy
yeah.
doing it.
And also meeting good people, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many people I have met through this industry, right? Because like as you grow up, you reach a particular age. I've been working 20 plus years, right?
Wow.
So of course your friends from childhood would not stay on forever,
So it's for
right?
socializing.
It's for socializing, having connections with good people, having people around you. And COVID time actually made people realize it's very important to build those bonds. Yeah. And there was an Airtel ad, "Har ek friend zaruri hota hai," right? I really believe that. We are not in an era where we would say, okay, there was one childhood friend of mine, we grew up together, and that stays forever. Everywhere, everywhere. You go to the gym, you find some friends. I met you.
Who you
Yeah,
vibe with.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
There
they,
could be one from every
yeah, and also they will also just know one part of your life. There is not even a single person who knows you in entirety, right? So if somebody is in office, they would know the professional Khushbu, right?
Yes.
If somebody is into blogging, they will know, okay, the blogging
For
Khushbu.
me, it was easy for me to connect with you
Yeah.
on the blogging level, not
Yeah,
because I'm a blogger,
absolutely.
but because this is what
Absolutely.
I'm basically
Looking for.
exploring,
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So every person would know a different side of you, and it is okay as long as you maintain that connection. And for me, it is like recently I started doing off-roading in my car, right?
Wow.
So I do off-roading events, like it's been 1.5 years. And a friend introduced me to that. So there are people I know through that.
So you're
They know
enjoying
me
that.
for off-roading. Yeah. So it depends who you meet where. And for me, I think it is important. Like, although I grew up as an introvert, But now I feel, and I'm an ambivert. With some people I gel, I can turn, very, very chatty.
Yeah.
But
It's about breaking the ice.
yeah, it's about breaking the ice and
Then
matching
they
that
can
wavelength.
push through this. I think
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
pretty much
Absolutely,
does. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Asha, Khushbu, tell us, I want to know, one more thing, because there are people who are working and they feel really worked out.
Mhm. Sure.
You, when I sit here, you're very comfortable doing what you're doing, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
your job and this.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
following
yeah.
your passion as well.
Absolutely.
How do you try to balance these two things
Yeah,
up?
yeah. So I
Because,
think there's
that's
one.
a very big good
Yeah.
thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, there is one concept which I would like to mention here, which I think is relevant to everybody, blogging, not blogging, irrespective, right? There are always three, balancing edges for a stool, right?
Okay.
If there's any table or stool, right,
Right.
you need at least three. Even like a in transportation, if a bicycle is there, it would not be balanced. If it is a three-wheeler, it will be balanced. To establish a balance, it's a law of nature that you need three corners. Now, first is your family. Family gives you that, strength.
Full and
Second is your professional side, career, or thing which is away from family, right? That is one. And then there has to be one third one. A third one
is
could be
for
your
your
hobby,
happiness.
for your happiness. While we may say we derive happiness from family, from career, that is important, but you need to have
You're
one more.
basically getting to individuality.
Yes, individuality, right? And having that balance is very important. Why we struggle is that people think, okay, family itself is enough, or career itself is enough, or balance between family and career is enough. I would say that we need to have a third pillar as well. And even, that could be a hobby, that could be anything that you do for yourself. And it can keep changing also with time. Maybe today somebody likes blogging, another day they like swimming, another day they like horse riding. It could be anything, but it has to be there. And when you have these three edges aligned,
Tell you something, this is easier said than done.
Of course,
Why?
of course.
Because there are so many pressures that
Yeah,
come from
yeah.
the family a lot of times.
yeah, yeah.
The job bit we do to pay our bills. Okay, there are people who cannot make time for their passions.
Absolutely.
No matter how hard
Absolutely.
they try. And talking about the changing bit, people, it's very easy for somebody to judge people.
Yeah, yeah, of
You
course.
doing blogging just now. Maybe 6 months down the line, you realize this is not for me, and
Yeah,
you change.
of course, of
right?
course.
Then maybe you do that, but people don't understand why you're doing it.
See, you don't live for people,
Yeah.
right? You live, first of all, prioritize yourself before everybody else. So setting the priority is the key, right? Prioritize yourself. What is making me happy? Should I, continue a job because I'm enjoying it? Or should I continue it because people would like me to do that, right?
No. Job, see.
Similarly, it's the same concept, right? Whether it is family, job, or your hobby, you do it for
You are
yourself.
probably saying it, Khushbu, I love the thought. Okay, let me start by saying I love the thought. Okay, if you have so much of clarity in you, okay, it's amazing. Nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah.
But 80% of the people will not.
And that is why they are stressed out. Why anxiety and stress is becoming number one problem in our country or worldwide as such, right? Because and of course, I'm saying this not that I have some mantra in my mind. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and I've come up with this solution, which I think is working for me. And I believe if it is working for me, it will work for other people as well.
This is a brilliant thought. Actually, it does, because when you do something for yourself,
Yeah.
you feel content.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to give you money. It doesn't have to give you anything material.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
happiness. It's that kick
Absolutely.
that you get
Yeah.
out of something.
And you have to, pull your mind away from family responsibilities. And I have a lot, right?
Time out.
Take mind away from your work stress, and then there has to be something which is pulling you away from all the stress factors, all the responsibilities. Just be yourself, come back.
It could be anything.
Anything.
Basically talking about unwinding.
Yes,
Whatever, yeah.
yes, it could be anything. It could be, for some person, it could be, okay, I just take a walk in the park and it makes me feel better. Great, that is your third leg, right? Identify what your third leg is. It could be a breathing exercise, yoga for some people, right? But even if you're spending like 15-20 minutes doing that, right? That will help you professionally as well as personally in your family.
Brilliant thought. I'm glad it's come out. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
really, really important. I believe it in too.
Yeah.
It is too. Yeah, definitely. This is very important. Moving forward, tell
Sure.
me, Khushbu, how do you get collaborations? Because you're obviously, and events also. Yeah.
Sure,
First, we'll talk about collaborations,
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
get on to the events.
Sure,
bit,
sure, sure.
Right. So is it that, these brands approach you
Yeah.
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
approach them? How is it that people get into this event?
So typically, because I've been connected to a lot of people. So
Right.
one is that it would come,
Networking?
it could be
Yes.
from network, right? So network that already exists, that is one. Second is that if your account is trending, automatically they will see your account and they will send you a message on your Instagram or whichever page it is.
So what does the term trending mean? Trending like
Like if they, let's say, there could be brands who are looking for people, right? So they may have some filters in their search, right? They're looking for somebody, or they may even be a competitor of somebody, right? They may just search, okay, so and so visited this place, so maybe she would also cover us, place as well. So that way, people will just send you direct messages on your Instagram, and then you can evaluate: is it for me? Is it not
and
for me?
what is the basic followership and engagement that you need to come to that level?
I don't think anything.
Really?
Nothing. It depends on what the brand needs, right? There's nothing like you have to have a minimum of this much. So in my view, it's a big black hole, right? Because you could be of a particular niche. Let's say if there is a blogger who is focused on fine tuning of guitar, right? And that is the content that person is focused on. Just how do I tune guitar? Everything about knowledge about guitar, right? They will have a particular niche. They will have particular followership.
Right.
Similarly, it could be another person who is just focused on one aspect of, let's say, videography. There would be a niche for that. Maybe it's the same. Some people would be like the Venn diagrams, right? Some people would be the same,
So what
some are
I'm trying
not.
to ask you is that somebody's figured out what their niche is to begin with.
Yeah.
Then they start posting the content and there's some engagement
Yeah.
happening. But there needs to be a basic minimum to whatever,
See, again, let's say I talk about service quality or quality domain, right? If somebody creates a page in quality domain, right? How many experts are there in the country who are in that domain?
quality
A few
domain.
thousand service quality related domains, right? How many people are there? So it is a very, very narrow topic. Narrower your niche, the lower number of people who would be interested in that, right? And okay, let's come to food. Okay, everybody eats, everybody enjoys meal. So in a way, every user on Instagram is your target audience then, because everybody enjoys food. Some may enjoy more, some may enjoy less, but then everybody enjoys.
consuming it.
They're consuming it. So your target audience is huge, and your followership can grow that level. But
Right.
what I'm coming to is that if somebody is just focused on one small niche, for them,
So you
let's
have
say,
to basically widen your
no.
horizon,
What I'm saying is that for that person, let's say if they have 10,000 followers for a very small little pointer, right?
Okay.
Let's say a guitar tuning channel. 10,000 is a very good number for that niche, right? 10,000 may not be a great number for a food niche because your target, what is the ratio of your target audience
What is the quality
versus
of the
followership?
content that we're looking at? Okay, let's say food and lifestyle.
Yeah,
So many
yeah.
people are doing.
Yeah.
So what is different that you do according to you?
Yeah.
Which basically attracts other people.
I think, first of all, understanding what is it that the brand wants, right? If somebody is asking you to create content. So I ask them questions. What is it that you want to focus on? What is your USP, right? What do you want this video to convey? I mean, many times people will just create something and they don't know what is the key message behind this 30-second reel, right? So identifying that, and sometimes brands also don't know what they want out of the videos. They just go out and say, hey, we need influencers to do this particular video shoot. And
It's basically popularity and this bit, isn't it?
it's more
Basically.
about clarity of what you want to convey to the audience, right? So
See, the brands usually are looking at their brand name going out there, isn't it?
depends.
Yeah.
That could be one goal, right? Let's say McDonald's, for example. Everybody knows what McDonald's is, right?
Yeah.
So they really don't need that bit, right? That my brand should go out. So what they will come up with, oh, we have a Happy Meal announced, or we have so and so thing. So
They're
there,
products because the name obviously
yeah,
is
yeah.
buying
So every brand will have a different objective. They may have an objective of just saying, okay, just popularize my brand. That could be one. There could be another one that, hey, we have a particular product which has been launched, focus on that. There could be a limited time offer, right? That for this month we are hosting a special something, right? So depending upon what is it that the brand wants to convey, the content should convey the same meaning. So if you do that, right, automatically it hits the brand as well as the audience, because they know what is the takeaway from a reel, right? If there is a reel post or whatever, what is the takeaway that the audience is getting? Now, if it is that, okay, this is yet another cafe in the town, okay, like how is it different from another cafe? How is it different from, let's say, something which is near to my house? Why should I go all the way to whatever cafe you're talking about? There has to be something special. What is it, right? So brand as well as the influencer, they should work together to figure out what's the message they want to convey. Yeah. And if that is nailed well, automatically they get footfall, and they are able to achieve their marketing goal. Influencer marketing is one small subset of the entire marketing plan. It's not the only plan. If any brand is saying that, okay, I'll just work with influencers and that is enough, I would not agree with that. There has to be a holistic thought process behind why you are engaging with influencers.
And Khushbu, how important is it, to attend these events? See, I've just begun, pretty much, right? So there are people who've been coming and telling me you should attend events, network, you get more people, more work through that and everything.
Sure.
So what is the importance of attending events per se?
I think it's individual choice.
Yeah.
Do what works for you.
No, working is one bit. What
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is that is it like really working for some people? Does it really?
I mean, networking, yes. Of course, when you go to events, you meet new people, right? But then you have to prioritize different things. I mean, when you have multiple things to do, you have to identify. Like, for example, I do events only when I'm free over the weekends. Weekdays is very difficult. I have to say no to even very, very good events from very, very good, organizers. But I have to prioritize, right? So prioritization is important.
No, for someone, see, for you, this is your passion. But
Yeah,
for
yeah.
somebody else, it could be their main bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who are really trying to make it out there for themselves as bloggers only, okay, not having
Yeah,
a job. I'm asking from that.
I think it's a balance of your content and your network, right?
Okay.
So my advice would be to focus on your content first, because when you have good content, let there be a pull factor instead of a push factor, right? It's like, are you selling door to door, or are you asking people to just queue up to buy it, like the iPhone strategy?
Right.
They just use a new brand and then there's a queue. People want it. My suggestion is to reach a level in your content strategy and the way you present yourself that people want to work with you. They start approaching you. They say, hey, you know what, can I connect to this person? That is a better way.
Creating value and
Create your
brand,
content well. Automatically brands will approach you and they will invite you to events. I mean, asking people, hey, can I join this event? That doesn't look nice.
Not look nice, and it's not worth it. In the beginning, who's gonna really entertain you? Pretty much,
Exactly.
right?
So you don't want to be, there just uninvited.
Of course.
So build your brand in a way that your content speaks for itself, right? Automatically people will. Yeah.
Yeah. And Khushbu, moving forward, okay, there are a couple more things that I need to ask you. Okay, what is the most common mistake that the bloggers are doing out there?
Yeah.
Because of which their page might not be growing
Yeah.
and the engagements not happening. What do you think that could be?
I think multiple things. One, I think rushing it really, really fast and buying fake followers,
Yes,
fake
this is one
views.
thing I really want to how do you actually see? How do you tell if somebody has genuine followers or fake followers? Of
Yeah,
course, from
yeah.
engagement.
Just
the
scroll
likes
through
and
it.
this, you know.
Just scroll, right? You will find a lot of bots. Click on the profiles, you won't find genuine profiles. That's how you know. Like, look at their likes. So that's the easiest way. Pick any latest content, look at who has liked it, you scroll through it. You will see if they are real people, you know it, right?
How do you really?
I mean, if there is, something I post, right? You scroll through each profile. Maybe you want to do an event. And I say, okay, invite all the people who liked your post where maybe we collaborated. And you click on every, user. Let's say there are 50 people who liked it. Click on every user. You will know, okay, this person is genuine and you can invite. You will, when you click on their profile, you will know it, right? There could be 20,000.
It's become very common, right?
Very common, yeah.
And that's why they don't have that tick mark up there.
So, see, that's the thing that has changed. That's the fun part now. So initially, yes, this was one factor which we thought that, when Meta used to do blue tick only based on, that was mainly based on your media articles. So I actually collated a list of all my media articles and I submitted multiple times. And then they would say, okay, we need this also. And I said, okay. So there was a process that so you show that, hey, I have been
It's
mentioned.
genuine,
Yeah, I have been mentioned in so many media articles. It could be professional, it could be personal, as long as you have been featured somewhere as a known person. That was the criteria to get that tick, right? But now it is like anybody can buy it as long as you are a real person. That's it. So you have to be real.
Okay.
But whether your followers are real or not
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Okay, that's very sad.
That's a sad
actually.
part, yeah.
Yeah, this is the sad part. You should have some kind of basically,
Yeah.
you know, what is that called?
Threshold.
Threshold or yeah, some, no, I'm not getting that word. Like that particular word which would really define this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There are reasons why even Meta won't do it, right? So
Why?
I mean, it's a whole business, right?
It is a business, I get it, but they're taking away the authenticity. That's the sad part.
No comments.
Yeah.
Nothing against Meta.
Okay. Okay, how do you really find your niche?
Whatever you're passionate about, I think go for that.
Something that basically comes
Makes
to
you,
you naturally.
yeah, naturally you feel happy about
Do you
it.
suggest people should really try out different things first?
You can, if you don't know what your niche is, it doesn't hurt to try, right? So it's fine. Try,
What is
learn
the
from it.
most, trending bit going on in the market right now? Somebody really has to pick a niche today. What is
Yeah.
it that's not existing that might come up according to you?
I think it depends. It depends. I mean, see, the thing is that we have audience for everything. That's a good thing about being in this world. No matter what you start, you will have audience for it. So I would say go for something unique. That way, you may catch more eyeballs. If you do the same thing that other people are doing, then you're just another ID,
But
right?
like food, Khushbu, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Food is something that everybody will consume, is consuming, and
Yeah.
you know, it will never stop. pretty much,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So, but again, you know, there are people, so many people doing food out there. So if
Yeah.
somebody has to start with food just now.
Yeah.
Also, I think
Start-
all they do-
Start with your own style, right?
yeah,
If not
the
anything
style
else,
has to be
right?
different. Yeah.
At least bring in something original, something, right? It could be the
Something
way you
different.
start it.
Huh.
It could be the way you present things. There has to be something which is catchy, which
Yeah.
makes people want to
That's only about
go through
you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just walking around the cafe every time and 10 other people are also doing the
Doing
same
it,
thing,
it's the
what's the
same.
value add, right?
I-
So come up with something which is different.
Yeah, yeah. And Khushbu, how do you really, since you've been in the business for a bit, how do you deal with the hater comments?
Just block
Does
them.
it- Just block them. Does it really impact you though? The blocking is one. That's like the easiest option. I'm talking about your psyche.
You know, there was this dialogue in the movie Guru. अगर आपके बारे में लोग बात कर रहे हैं, that means तरक्की कर रहे हो.
हाँ वो तो है ही वो तो है नहीं वो what there's one more actually क्या हुआ अगर नाम तो हुआ नहीं बदनामी
बदनाम हुए तो
क्या
नाम
हुआ
तो खैर I don't believe in that. I don't want to be in the badnaam zone, right? But yeah, if people are envy of you, that is okay. But badnaam is like okay, that's a
Okay, let's not get
yeah,
onto that
yeah,
point. What I'm
yeah,
trying to ask you is, for example, you know, if you have repetitions, okay, it's
Yes.
a repetition that's happening apart from blogging. Does it really affect you, bother you?
See, as I said, for me, people are important, right? It depends on who that person is, right?
Fair.
So if there is a person, let's say if it is my mom, right? If it is my close friend, they don't like something.
Your close friend and your mother will not do comment. Put a negative comment anywhere.
Oh, they will not put negative comment. They will just tell me.
Yeah,
They will come up to me and give me a
that's
negative
better.
comment.
That's better, easier to take.
Yeah.
In person is always better.
Right. So, I mean, if I get something negative, then I will,
Try to work on
yeah,
it.
I try, because I know they are genuine. If they are coming up with something, I know there is some truth to it, right? But if somebody is doing it out of jealousy or just because of any,
Yeah, whatever.
and sometimes, and I'm an empath, right? So sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe they are going through something,
You know whether you try to understand where they're
yeah.
coming from.
and it's not.
Does it make you feel like a celebrity in your office? Though?
No.
No? A little bit.
I'm very sorted about this.
Yeah.
I even don't use the word influencer a lot.
Okay.
I prefer using the word blogger. And see, that is the thing. Since
But
childhood.
they must be looking at you in a certain way, no?
No. I ensure they don't.
Yeah.
I
How-
ensure they don't.
Okay.
Right. So, see, professionally, when I'm in office, they know me for the work I do. That is what matters in a
Absolutely,
professional organization.
absolutely.
Doesn't matter whether you have followers or no followers. At the end of the day, what you are doing and how you are helping the business is what matters, right? Even in friends,
Hmm.
this is what I think it should be like, right? If we are friends, we are friends. Doesn't matter if you have 0 followers or 10,000 followers.
Yeah, that's a very personal level. That's
Yeah,
you know,
and the friendship
that's your
should not change
connection.
by
Yeah,
that,
that's
right?
not-
So
that's something
Yeah.
completely different. What I'm trying to ask you really is,
yeah,
does it really, basically see, you trying to do your part
Mhm.
is one thing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you trying to make sure that hey, this shouldn't sort of people shouldn't feel
Yeah,
intimidated
yeah,
or
yeah.
things like that. But I'm sure they have it in their head somewhere.
No, no, no.
Nothing at all.
See, it's the way you show up to people, right? I don't act like a celebrity anywhere.
Fair.
It's your mannerism.
Yeah.
It's your mannerism. If you're a welcoming person, people will like you. If you're not, they won't. And irrespective of whether you have followers or not, it depends on who you are as a person. Yeah. So I don't think, in fact, I feel irrespective of in office or otherwise, I'm one of the most approachable people around.
Okay. No, you are very approachable.
So-
I told you that day also the other day when we met.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
definitely very genuine and very approachable. That's a compliment I'm giving you on air just now.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for making time for us, Khushbu. It's been
Thank you.
lovely having you, and we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Pleasure.